Hi Virgo. Welcome to your part 2. So it's not really an extended because now we're going to take a completely new look at what happens in January. And for those of you who are getting the Jupiter reading, it's basically like your early January reading, because then the January readings are just, well, not just, but they're 2023 readings. They're like for the whole year coming up. So you're first on January 2023. Let's take a look. It's totally intuitive, not doing the astrology with this at all. Old school. The Tower and the Eight of Cups. Your crisis doesn't end until you decide that you're no longer emotionally invested in it. And some crises moments can be completely reimagined. As long as you can lose that emotional charge that the events are carrying. The Eight of Cups is you deciding what you want to keep, what you want to walk away from. It's a painful separation. It's reluctant, but it's also one of the times in your life where you're the most sure. So whatever this chaos is, including for some of you, changing living situations, I would say embrace it and try to live up to your standards. Try to live up to your very critical, discerning nature. Now, for those of you who are being uprooted in terms of home and family, the Eight of Cups is asking you how much of this is a surprise. Because these cups have been filling up for a while. Did you know? And if you didn't know, how disengaged have you been from your own life that you couldn't tell that this Tower moment was coming? Temperance. The King of Pentacles. You. The Six of Wands. The Chariot. The Ace of Pentacles. And the Eight of Swords. You ever get that feeling that when one part of your life is working out, another part is falling to shit, and it makes you feel like you can't have everything at once? It's like you always have to sacrifice one thing. That's what this is giving me. So, that Tower moment can also be you coming to terms with the fact that you just don't have the same feelings anymore. And, you know, Sag season gave you a little bit of that charm offensive that they have in abundance. You may have found a way to smooth your way out of it, or smooth talk your way out of a reality that everyone knows is just, you know, it's obvious now. I think everybody involved in your living situation knows that you're not into it. For some of you, this directly translates to just not feeling who you're with, who you're supposed to be with, who you promised to be with, whatever your situation is. The obligatory nature of the connection is beginning to bother you. Now, the funny thing about the obligatory connection is that this is something that happens mainly in your head. People change in your mind from being vital sources of energy and amusement to being a drain on your energy. And it has everything to do with choice. When you want to entertain somebody and it's a choice, you feel like their energy brings you a lot. It gives you a lot. But when you no longer feel like obligating that, being obligated to that choice, everything about that person or everything you have to do in accordance with that choice becomes an irritation. So while Virgos are known for living up to their obligations and their word, they don't do so happily. And I think for some people, me included, this is a huge issue. Because from my perspective, I don't want you to do the thing just because you have to do it. From the Virgo perspective, you should be happy that I want to do it. You should be happy I'm doing it. You should be even more happy that I'm doing it, despite the fact that I don't want to do it. So it's two very different ways of thinking. Regardless, whatever in your situation has made you feel obligated and it's switched that way in your head, it's like you can't stop thinking about getting away from it now. It can be consuming. It may have consumed you for most of Sag season. And here now with Jupiter in Aries, we have this abundant energy that wants you to do exactly as you wish. And what it looks like, what you wish more than anything else, is to get away from where you are or where you have been. For some of you, this translates as really healthy ambition. You're driven, you're busy, you're running from the demons of your past, you're running from, what you used to be when you weren't as focused. But more than anything, it's just inspiring. You're looking forward. And in a few days, in 9 days from now, Mercury will go retrograde. And for you, especially when it comes to a very volatile connection that you willingly left behind, I think you may surprise yourself at your own behavior. Jupiter in Aries makes you bold. It makes you feel like you can do things that you know you can't do. But because you feel like you can do them, you might get away with them. And that's always fun. The best part about this is that even if you throw caution to the wind and really do go back bravely towards a fate that you decided was not going to be yours, you're headstrong and lucky enough to actually get somewhere. Especially if the person you're dealing with has air in their chart. The more air they have in their chart, the more you see them in a different light. The Geminis especially are coming up very dominant here. When Virgo starts to feel better about self, when Virgo asserts some control over self, even if it is after getting to a point of feeling so obligated that you crack, whenever in the timeline it is that you choose yourself, the high of choosing yourself immediately takes you back to days where you would have made better choices had you felt this way about yourself then. Does that make sense? So as soon as your esteem is high and you're feeling good about you, and what I mean by that is you feel capable, you start to think about all those times that you could have used this feeling and this capability and you didn't because you didn't feel this way. It's a strange way to work, but one of the great things that comes out of it is that you have the ability to self-edit. You can go back through and look through the lens of high self-esteem and say, okay, here and here, definitely should have reacted better. Here and here, definitely made a bad decision. And to have that happening while Mercury's retrograde in very solid Capricorn, while Jupiter is in Aries, you're setting yourself up for some really good luck when it comes to taking risks, forgiving old hurts, igniting old romance, healing wounds through this revitalization of a connection. I think it's also because you can take accountability when you're feeling well. When you're feeling high and good about yourself, it's easy for you to be like, hey, that thing I did? Hey, that thing that happened? My bad. And it doesn't, you're not delicate about it. It doesn't hurt you. It's not, your skin isn't thin right now. So very good things are possible and you're communicating, and that's what's the best part. It's like you've decided that you're never going back where you came from, and that's perfect because it will make you put your all into your work and into your personal life as well, because you've decided this on both fronts. Whatever this tower moment is, it's really got you going. Your blood is up. You're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I can't live like this anymore. And I think the people around you are thinking, yeah, nobody told you have to live like this. Like, this can be over now. We can go about, a different life now. You're the one who's been hell-bent on it being the way that it is because you thought that's what it meant to be a good person. You're going to diligently stick to the script. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Okay, that's what we're going to do. And then the tower moment happens and it's like, okay, maybe we're not going to do that. Now, when it comes to this Gemini energy, the best way to communicate with this person is to address them and talk to them at the same level of respect and self-affirmation that they've got going on. So if you're trying to do the charming, kind of snarky, self-deprecating thing, yeah, that'll work. But as soon as it turns into poking fun at the other person, in this case, the air sign, that'll go badly. So what I'm trying to say is your usual tricks here won't work when it comes to charm. Now, if there is some connection from the past, whether it's a Capricorn or a Gemini, they want something more from you than just, oh, hey, I have your attention again. And I think it's because in the meantime, the people you have lost touch with have grown. Their connection with themselves has grown. And I think that's part of why you're attracting them back into your life to begin with, because you're seeking that same thing. You want your connection with yourself to grow as well. You want to know what the secret is. You want to know what they're doing. And it's like you can instinctively tell that they figured something out and you want access to it. The cool thing is that having access to it, whatever they figured out, is tantamount to having access to everything. But it does require you going back and, telling some truths about a situation that you have regrets about, confusion about. Maybe you left somebody else in a confused state. Maybe you really took a lot out of someone and they've had to build themselves back up, this Scorpio and this Leo, just building themselves back to baseline of what they used to be. Jupiter and Aries helping them out as well. Now, if you're intending on reaching out to either one of these people, I would say hold up a minute. They're in quite some pain and need to rebuild before, and they need something solid. They need something more solid than what you can give them. So you can try, but I think all you'll realize from trying is how empty some of your cups are as you see their cups so full, or you see them recovering, right? Now, when it comes to your finances and the more traditional aspects of your life, you may feel really curtailed by the things that are expected of you right now. You may be transitioning from school to work or single life to married life, whatever it is. There you see this long road opening up ahead of you. Keep your cool. Do not overreact. The High Priestess is like, don't react at all. You don't know the full story yet. This direction is going to change a bunch more times. Nothing is in stone. Nothing is solid. You will get the chance to live or lean into this adventurous spirit more than you think. But in the meantime, it would be nice to explore what it is exactly that's holding you back. When it comes to being more adventurous, or when it comes to opening your mind to new ways to live, it's not anyone else that ever holds you back. It's you. And I think it has something to do with you liking the accumulation, liking accomplishment, liking to build things up, and that isn't really amenable to change. That's not a lifestyle that's very amenable to change. It's not very open to change. It's not very conducive to change. But you need it nonetheless. So these aspects of your personality, they're warring with each other, right? Because one side of you really needs to build things up to feel safe, to feel secure. And the other side of you is just bored to tears by this and really needs something more, but can't do without the security as well. So it gets very sticky. In January, you're going to find that there's somebody that you may owe something to, and they have a lot to say about it. And you may want to create a communication with them, a love between you again, or you may want to, this is someone, it seems like something financial. And I don't think that this is a good idea. I think whatever it was with this person, especially if it's something financial, I think that financial wounding is still very present. And I think it can easily turn into a pretty painful situation, pretty mean, I would say. Okay, so just take it easy with that. If there is somebody out there that you owe them money, or they owe you money, or if this is your mom and you owe her money, try not to get too into this right now, and try very hard not to feel entitled to it. because I think that's where most of the issue comes from. Now, there are areas of your life that you need to balance in January, and they have to do with the way you're feeling around your success and good luck. Like I said, it does make you think of all the times that if you were feeling this good then, you would have decided things different. And if you let yourself, you can fall deeply into that hole. Or, you can just let it empower you and give you a sense of purpose and fill you with love and fill you with good luck and good vibes. That's up to you. You can choose to be unhappy right now. You can. But there is every reason in the world in January for you to feel the abundance and the support of the people around you. But you could be upset that you didn't have it before, which is by no means a guarantee that it'll stay this time. It's not like you can learn your lesson and then it won't happen again. Things ebb and flow. That's how life is. That's how luck is. There's no way to life-proof this wheel of fortune. There's no way to life-proof yourself and your experience. There's no way to do it right so this wheel never turns against you. It just doesn't work that way. And I know that, in the Virgo mind, it should work that way, and I get it. It would be fair. It would be just. It's just not the reality. And so when you try to force the world through the keyhole of your vision, what reality should be, it's very painful for you, for the people around you, for everyone. And most importantly, and I think this is somewhere where we can, land on common ground, it's not effective. It doesn't bring you anything. Are you right that the world should be more fair and you should work for what you get, and if you work hard, you should get more? Of course, of course. Are you naive for still thinking that somehow in some place the world will adhere to this righteousness? Yeah, you are a little bit naive, but we love that about you. That's okay. You can keep hoping and dreaming, but you also need to not beat yourself up or beat the shit out of yourself with this idealized version of life. And somehow, persecuting yourself for not having it. Or in this case, not having it sooner. You don't need to do that. It's okay to be happy now, It's okay to have what you have and say, wow, I could have had this 10 years ago, or wow, I could have had this 15 years, damn it. It's okay to feel that way for a moment, but it's important to move on from that and live in where we are now and say, yes, I love this. I love that I get to have this now, instead of not at all. And for those of you where the tower moment is very real and that's already started for you and you just don't know what you're going to do, I will say that life has a way of pushing you into the changes that you refuse to acknowledge, the changes that need to be made that you refuse to acknowledge. So if you feel like life is really the momentum behind this and it's not your choices, that's okay. It's not out to get you. It's just trying to facilitate changes that you deeply, deeply, and desperately need. It's trying to help. Okay? I love you. I'll see you in the 2023 videos.